Hi there, this is Gary Ryan Blair, and what I'm about to share with you will either light a fire under your behind or it'll take a bite out of it. Either way, it's the truth. However, much like Rodney Dangerfield, it's not often treated with the respect it deserves. See, the number one reason why there aren't more millionaires, more great marriages, more well-disciplined kids, more people in great shape, more great salespeople, more great athletes, actors, journalists, and musicians, and even more great businesses is because most people are just not sufficiently motivated to do everything that is necessary in order to become great. And to become a super productive human being, I'm talking someone who plays a superior game, someone who dominates their competition, and someone who operates at the very peak of their potential. You must become an extremist. And the two rules for becoming an extremist are as follows. Number one, you cannot have extreme superhuman productivity without taking extreme measures. And two, extreme superhuman productivity can only begin with a zero tolerance for unproductive activity. So you get out of life what you're willing to tolerate. And low performers tolerate way too much unproductive behavior, habits, and excuses for themselves. So to confirm with conviction, extreme superhuman productivity can only begin with a zero tolerance for unproductive activity. Now, this truth is easy to understand intellectually. However, execution is the only thing that provides a true understanding of this truth. See, self-awareness followed by immediate self-correction is the key to achieving extreme superhuman productivity. And whenever you find yourself acting in a way that is grossly incongruent with your stated goals, then you must take immediate action to correct your behavior. And even more importantly, you have to do it on a real-time basis, not a retrospective basis. See, the time to determine whether or not your behavior is congruent with your stated ambitions is not at the end of the week, not at the end of the month, not at the end of the calendar quarter, and certainly not at the end of the year. It's real-time, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. See, what you can't measure, you won't be able to manage or improve. And when you don't inspect your performance, you can't possibly expect extreme results. The only way to enjoy extreme superhuman results is by having a hyper-awareness of your productivity and of your congruent behavior. You've got to be very aware of what you're permitting to happen around you, with you, and what's getting in your way, and you must be willing to kill it before it kills your performance and your subsequent results. And if you aren't willing to defend your productivity, if and when necessary, what exactly are you willing to defend? You must remember that you get out of life what you're willing to tolerate. And that's precisely why you must have a zero tolerance policy for unproductive behavior. And if someone or something is negatively impacting your productivity, just how tolerant of that are you? First of all, how aware of it are you? Secondly, how tolerant are you? Now, I suggest to you that there's a direct correlation between high income, high performance, and high standards, and a low tolerance for anything that is messing up one's productivity. Something that they're doing to themselves, or something that they're tolerating other people to do to them. Third, if you want extreme superhuman results, you have no choice but to make very specific decisions on how you're going to control these things. And this includes what you do, where you do it, if you do it at all, and who you do it with and how you go about doing it. And most importantly is the who. Now, I want to make it very clear that the very first thing on your to-do list is to facilitate maximum productivity at your best mental attitude so you can be highly productive. That's your job, that's your right, and that is your responsibility. And to become a super productive human being, that must also become your passionate obsession. That's who you want around you, and you must be mindful that this applies to everyone and everything, because when it comes to driving extreme results, there is no neutral and certainly no negatives when it comes to spouse, to staff, and friends. They're either helping you to achieve your full potential or they're hurting your ability to do so. And if you deliberately plan on being less than you're capable of being, then I warn you that you'll be unhappy for the rest of your life. Feelings like anxiety, regret, resentment, and boredom live in the gap between the superhuman performer you are capable of being and who you're actually being. When you talk about getting to work and making big things happen in your life, there's three specific types of actions that lead to extreme results. One is immediate. That is the start. And even if you're unsure as to which action to take, it's far better to get started in the wrong direction than it is not to get started at all. So why is that? Well, you can fix the direction, but you can't fix the not starting. And the best odds of you driving extreme superhuman results begins by taking extreme actions towards your goals and doing it immediately. No matter how ill-prepared you may be to follow through, I want you to just start now, because you can't finish what you do not start. Now, it's been said that the best time to plant an oak tree was 25 years ago, and the second best time is right now. That's also true of everything you want to be, do, and have. And the best time, if you can't do it last week, which you couldn't because you didn't, so the next best time is now, as there is enormous power to starting. And the second action to driving extreme results is to do something visible, something that's impossible not to notice. This action intentionally puts you on the spot and conveys certain things about your direction. In addition, it also sends a positive message to others about what's acceptable and what's not. And the third, perhaps most ingenious thing that you can do to drive extreme results is to change your strategy from doing a few things in sequential order to doing many things simultaneously. So you really need to pay close attention to this third action, as it's hard not to slip back into sequential thinking and behaving because you've conditioned yourself since birth that everything ought to be done in a sequential manner. I'm talking step 1, step 2, step 3, A then B, walk before you run, first grade, second grade, third grade, single, double, triple, blue badge before green. You get the idea. So you've been conditioned since birth to do everything sequentially, but that's not how high performers think or act. And if you're trying to get extreme superhuman results through sequential or incremental thinking and acting, well, that's not what high performers do. See, they run around and create a massive amount of activity. High performers are unconventional in how they think and how they operate. They live in perpetual, controlled, purposeful chaos. That is just how they do things. They embrace the belief that they have no legal, logical, or moral obligation or any justifiable reason to settle for small, marginal, or incremental growth. They believe in advancing rapidly from one place, position, or situation to another without progressing through any or all of the stages in between. They believe in leapfrogging from worst to first, from poverty to prosperity, from small to large quickly, not sequentially. This type of thinking and acting allows you to create extreme, superhuman results by leveraging the knowledge, the experiences, successes, and failures of others without having to pay the price yourself. In other words, it allows you to advance rapidly without having to go through the intermediary steps. Extreme superhuman performers think and play the game of multiplication, as in growth by multiples, while the majority of people are simply focused on playing addition and subtraction. Low performers settle for table scraps, while the extremists have all the fun and collect all the marbles. See, we all deep down understand that we perform best when there's a heightened sense of urgency, when there's a critical deadline breathing down our neck. Now, I've always been amused at professional football and the infamous 2-minute drill. These guys haven't been able to move the ball down the field for the past 2 hours. And then, all of a sudden, with the clock counting down, do they finally act as if every play and second counted? Well, it all counted the moment the game began, but now that it's down to the wire, do we see extreme, aggressive, relentless action finally taking place? So how come nobody plays the 2-minute drill every 2 minutes? Well, extremists do. If you want extreme superhuman results, you have to execute in a manner that demonstrates that every move is important and that every second counts. That's just one of the many reasons why you're absolutely going to love the 100-Day Challenge, an extreme performance acceleration program designed to turn you into a superhuman performer. And to get all the details on this program, check out 100daychallenge.com and make it the very next thing you do.